Days before the start of Pride Month, Target is removing certain items from shelves and making other changes to its LGBTQ merchandise.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am. No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I got a 0 on a project proposal in my class because I used the term biological women, which is apparently not allowed anymore.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him and that's all.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to
another banger by Really Graceful. We're not sure what to do about her.
Hello? Is my microphone working correctly?
George, can you just wait while we...
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just...
Hey Internet friends, we're doing a weekly wrap-up of all the craziness going on because something strange is happening in America and always is lately, it seems. It's like the era of acceleration. We'll of course start with Target or Target or Target, whatever your flavor. I'm not sure how they identify these days. This is the company that used to be called Dayton's after the Dayton family, the patriarch of which was George Draper Dayton, who founded the dry goods store in 1881 in Minneapolis. If Delaware is DuPont country, then by golly, Minneapolis is the land of Dayton. Eventually, the Daytons changed the name of their store to Target in 1962, with the logo being the iconic bullseye. Of course, it's never enough for these rich families to just be rich and enjoy their lives. They gotta be influential and political too. So what do you know? The Daytons married into the Rockefeller family, who is responsible for, of course, Rockefeller Oil, Rockefeller Medicine, the education system, and more. The granddaughter of oil baron John D. Rockefeller wed Yale Skull and Bonesman Mark Dayton in the 1970s. It's important to note the context of historic Rockefeller doings, the practice of which we could probably trace back to Mystery Babylon. But keep in mind, the Rockefellers got together with other families to both fund the eugenics movement at Cold Spring Harbor and form the Federal Reserve, which has been a parasite on our country since the very beginning, putting us in a financial system completely based on debt slavery, and usury. The Rockefellers kept detailed notes on families they wanted to eradicate from the earth at Cold Spring Harbor, and there were many, many families. But when they got outed, the Rockefellers simply underwent a rebrand and dominated what is now the modern medicine movement, funding things like fertility vaccines and trying them out on unsuspecting populations across the world, publishing their findings in their end-of-year reports, which are still published and pretty easy to find today. You can totally verify everything I've said. I talk about eugenics, Rockefeller eugenics, in great detail in my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia, but anyway, Mark Dayton, whose family owns Target, remember he married the Rockefeller granddaughter, became Minnesota's 40th governor running on the Democratic ticket. His Rockefeller wife funneled tens of millions of dollars into progressive politics. They had 2 sons together, but they eventually divorced, yet their quote-unquote progressive politics really did permeate Target corporate culture. I'm sure you remember the whole transgender bathroom debate of 2016. Target spearheaded the movement, stating that they welcomed transgender team members and guests to use their restrooms or fitting room facility that corresponded with their gender identity. Of course, customers who disagreed boycotted the stores. Which brings us up to speed with everything, and we arrive at their 2023 Pride collection, which has caused so much controversy that Target in recent days has removed much of the collection from its shelves, stating that they're removing some merchandise celebrating Pride Month from the store shelves after facing a backlash against the products, including threats against the safety of its workers. Which makes me roll my eyes so much because I highly doubt anyone is threatening the workers. But these folks love to play the perpetual victim. I'm going to roll the short video where I take you on a field trip to Target and show you the collection. Hey internet friends, y'all keep sending me this picture of the Target display, LGBTQ XYZ. And we're gonna go see if in Georgia, in North Georgia, they have this display. And we're gonna go see if it's as extremely diverse and accepting as you all say it is. All right, we've arrived at our side quest destination. Oh yeah. Queer liberation is for everyone. Oh no. In case your dogs are gay or trans. Busy thinking about girls. Just be you and feel the love. There's definitely a lot of kids stuff here in this section. These swimsuits with the extra space for your appendages go up to a 4X. Just so you know. Another 4X for you. Trans people will always exist. Unfortunately, I could not find the wheelchair trans person shirt. I'm very disappointed. Yay, our side quest has ended. And we're leaving. Okay, we're back. I'm showing off my garden over here. I hate going to Target because it's like IKEA, you know, when you walk through the doors, I'm sure they're spraying something on you. At IKEA, it's the Cinnabon cookie smell. At Target, it's probably, I don't know, Monsanto Roundup and estrogen. Okay, starting to rain over here, but I feel like it's 50% kids' clothes over there in the Stunning and Brave section. 50% adult clothes. Don't love that. Feels like recruitment. I do wonder if half of the marketing plan is the outrage. They get you to discuss these topics. They get you to go in and look at everything. I don't know. I do wonder if that's part of the marketing plan. Target looks like it's in shambles, by the way. All the aisles it looks like Dollar General in there. Terrible. All right, that concludes the video. So I have to ask, is there a connection between the Rockefeller control of Target, their eugenics programs, their eugenics movements, and the promotion of the alphabet mafia, the rainbow mafia? Because I'm not saying this to be hateful, no way, no how, but when you are with the same sex, when you have hormones pumped into your veins since the time you're a child, you are not going to procreate. You are the end of your bloodline. And like I told you in a previous video, we can point to historical examples of gay and even trans communities throughout time, like Weimar Germany. But they were never presented as the majority or the norm. And the concept of gay and trans and sexuality was very much kept as an adult concept. One of the designers Target partnered with for their Pride collection, Ab Prolin, sorry if I said that wrong, quote, Ab Prolin sells shirts, pins, and stickers with the design of a pastel goat head and the message, Satan respects pronouns. The company also sells clothing that includes the phrase, we bash back, with a heart-shaped mace in the trans flag colors. There's also a transphobe collector with a skull design. and a homophobe headrest with skulls beside a pastel guillotine. So that's who Target got to design a few products for their Pride collection. And like I said in the video, 50% of the stuff in my Target's Pride section, which was directly there when you walk in at the front of the store on full display, not only had tuck-friendly swimsuits alongside the Pride baby onesies and children's clothes, but some of their designs were from a designer who basically has a whole Satan rainbow collection. I know the internet friends who get it, they truly get it. And that's who this message is for. And we're moving on because I did a video about an upside-down flag flying at the Senate building at the Capitol, and Newsweek did a fact check on this story saying it was true, but the flag was flying upside down because of an issue with the flag's prong or something, so whatever. If you believe that, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. Here's the video. Hey, internet friends. I've seen several news agencies report that the U.S. flag at the top of the Senate building at the U.S. Capitol was being flown upside down today, 3/4 of the way up the pole. According to the U.S. flag code, the American flag should never be flown upside down with the stars at the bottom except as a signal of dire distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property. Some folks are saying that this was an accident, that someone strung up the flag on accident upside down. And yeah, maybe the guy changing out the flag at your local Denny's would fall prey to accidents like that. No hate to the guy at Denny's, but everything is intentional in Washington, D.C. and for display on the world stage. Some of the people who reported the upside-down flag first, circulating this photo, were Jake Sherman of MSNBC and Punchbowl News, the Insider Paper, Raw News Alerts, political commentator and attorney Rogan O'Hanley, Citizen Free Press. These were just a few. I'm listing these out for origin and documentation purposes just so we have some data points for this video, because some people are saying that the photo is photoshopped. Some people are saying that it's fake. And yeah, if you check out a live stream of the Senate building right now, it appears the flag is flying upright. But one thing is for sure, this photo was leaked purposefully and circulated by major news accounts for a very specific reason. I have a feeling whoever raised this flag this morning knew exactly what they were doing and were signaling something, but now it's been fixed quietly and hastily. We're a country being attacked from within, attacked on all fronts. We have traitorous legislators and alphabet agencies who work for families, bloodlines, and corporate fronts, not for the benefit of our nation and its citizens. We have a currency backed by nothing and a system of debt slavery implemented by a parasitic organization who took over our country officially in 1913. But here's a breakdown of what I'm seeing in the last few weeks leading up to today. Millions of illegal migrants are bum rushing the border, not limited to folks from South America, but also I'm seeing Haiti and China too. Not women and children and families seeking asylum, but military-aged men, so one can safely assume that someone or some entity is flying these men out of Haiti, out of China, and parking them there at the Mexican-U.S. border in preparation for the expiration of Title 42. A country is nothing without its borders. It's why the Chinese built the Great Wall as defensive fortification. It's why invading barbarian groups eventually led to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Also, in the last 48 hours, a viral video of a huge explosion in Western Ukraine has been shared all over social media with unverified claims that depleted uranium storage facility was hit and reports that radiation levels were rising in the aftermath of the strike, which fact checkers have come out in droves to dismiss as false because that would mean there's a nuclear war taking place in Ukraine as of 48 hours ago. Either way, I'm sure more U.S. taxpayer dollars are being funneled to Ukraine to make up for the explosion. And it's looking like, with the way things are going, everything could pop off into an all-out war with Russia at any time. Also going on right now, and we've been talking about this on my channel, countries around the world have started an irreversible process of breaking away from the U.S. dollar. A reported 41 additional nations have joined the BRICS coalition in addition to China and Russia, which intends to trade in another currency besides the petrodollar. BRICS represents the economically aligned nations of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they're discussing the launch of a global currency that does not utilize the US dollar. So if countries by and large stop using the US dollar for this trade, that means the value of the US dollar will go down. Bye.
I'm just a fake silhouette, avoiding every threat. I wanna stay like a silhouette, but I can't do that. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that.
States in the title, this is an encyclopedia that covers so many historical events, censored information. If you were to go to the index, there is an A to Z of virtually any relevant phrase or person or event that comes up when you're looking into conspiracies. But let me paint this scenario. Say, for example, you have a friend or family member that's just waking up, like they're just beginning their journey of questioning the reality that we live in and the corruption that's going on and has been going on for a very, very long time. Instead of sitting them down and trying to explain every little detail and every aspect in like a word vomit kind of way, what you can do now is you can give them this book. For so long I've been thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put all of these pieces together in one place so that all you'd need to do is to point people in one direction and they could find all of this stuff out for themselves. Because this is the thing as well. In order for someone to wake up properly, they have to want to do the research for themselves and learn at their own pace. You can't forcibly wake someone up, but you can show them the light.
I got a 0 on a project proposal in my class because I used the term biological women, which is apparently not allowed anymore. She even said it was a good project proposal, but I got a 0 because I used this term and it's exclusionary and not allowed anymore, so. And I 100% know that this is like the most biased grade ever because my project is about transgenders competing in biological women's sports. How am I supposed to do my final project if I can't use the word biological women? But that's what my project is about.
Then, so many strange things started piling up this week that I felt like I had to make a compilation video and lay everything out on a timeline for maximum context and understanding, so here's that video for you. Hey internet friends, every day I wake up and it seems like there's another psyop in our once great country that was born out of the pursuit of freedom and liberty. Over the years, the United States has overcome countless challenges and obstacles, emerging as a land of opportunity and a testament to the human spirit. But are those days over? Or are we watching our great country unravel in front of our eyes? This week has been relentless. Something strange certainly is happening here in the United States. So for full clarity, I wanted to get it all laid out on a timeline. On May 16th, 2023, I reported on this channel that a photo had surfaced of the US flag flying upside down at the Capitol building, and we discussed what that meant. According to the US flag code, the American flag shouldn't be flown upside down with the stars at the bottom, except as a signal of dire distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property. There were reports that officials had corrected the flag's orientation, that it was a mistake, an accident, and we moved on. Also reported on May 16th, 2023, the news story broke that about 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical that can be used as fertilizer or a part of explosives, went missing while being shipped by train from Wyoming to California in April. At this point, there isn't much information out there, but it certainly seems like the ammonium nitrate was stolen. By the way, let's think about this critically. Who can move something that weighs 60,000 pounds from a train car? That someone or someones would have to have forethought and the right skills, the right equipment. This doesn't sound like something a random group or civilian or individual would or could do. We all know that the government likes to set up things that look like real attacks, then they use the fallout to make some brand new rules that changed the way that society works altogether, like 9/11. In my professional opinion, it feels like a psyop or a false flag is brewing. On May 21st, 2023, a news story broke that a certain fella with a blackmail island once seemed to threaten to reveal an affair Bill Gates apparently had with a Russian bridge player.
Great to see so many young people playing bridge. I love bridge. Bridge helps you think. It's a game you can play your entire life and keep getting better and better. I think anybody who's good at bridge is going to be great at a lot of things. So I really encourage people to get involved.
Who are you?
Bill Gates.
Why do you play bridge?
It's both fun and you learn how to think, you learn strategy.
2 years ago, I said everyone that I'm going to meet this guy. Nobody believed me. Last year, I played against him at the same table at the National Bridge Tournament in Washington, D.C. I didn't beat him, but I tried to kick him with my leg. Very famous American actress. Her name is Mae West. And what she said is, bridge like sex. If you don't have a good partner, you better have a good hand.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
The Wall Street Journal says that Jeffrey exploited Gates's 2010 affair in a threatening email in 2017. According to the story, Jeffrey sent the email after numerous failed attempts to get Gates to join his large nonprofit fund with J.P. Morgan. The Wall Street Journal stated that Antonova, the girl that Gates had an affair with, met Jeffrey in 2013 while seeking money for Bridge Planet, a firm that would teach others about her favorite game. Antonova, now a software engineer, told the Journal that she didn't know about Epstein's crimes when she pitched to him and others for her business 5 years after his 2008 guilty plea and jail time for soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution, which forced Jeffrey to register as a sex offender. So that whole story is probably BS. The prevailing theory is that Jeffrey recruited this girl who looks exactly like Bill Gates' daughter, which is creepy. She also looks to me exactly like Greta Thunberg. How dare you to seduce Bill at this bridge event. I feel so lame repeating it because it's not even a lusty or intriguing storyline. This is single-handedly the worst billionaire falls in love with a normie smut synopsis I've ever read, which is a very popular subgenre amongst the Kindle e-reader community, but I digress. Here's one for you. Blackmail Island guy allegedly offs himself in August of 2019. Bill Gates pops everything off, hosting Event 201 just months later. Then everyone Jeffrey blackmailed either were CEOs who stepped down at the end of 2019, early 2020, remember that phenomenon, or they became the new enforcement for global tyranny circa March 2020. The timeline here is kind of sus to me. I don't think that Jeffrey is dead. Listen to the song. The song is true. Only the good die young. Cockroaches will survive nuclear war. Jeffrey pulled a Hitler narrative and probably fled to Argentina or Israel. Perhaps related to the 60,000 pounds of missing ammonium nitrate, perhaps not. On May 22nd, 2023, a driver crashed an empty U-Haul truck into a security barrier near the White House in what federal officials believe was an intentional act. A Nazi flag was the only thing found in the truck, according to video and law enforcement sources. It's important that I show you what this white supremacist neo-Nazi with only a Nazi flag in his truck looks like. Wow. There is some discussion that this could have been a test of White House security measures. For instance, if this U-Haul was full of explosives and a team of 5 or 6 people jumped out and quickly disposed of the gate guards, the gates could be opened and the truck could get through. So it's a perfect decoy, a perfect distraction if you yourself want to commit a crime or do something and not have anybody look. You would have them, all looking at the White House at this guy who is on the pavement next to his neo-Nazi flag. Also reported on Monday, May 22nd, a story came out stating that more than 50 senators have received satellite phones for emergency communications, saying the phones would allow senators to communicate if a natural or man-made crisis knocks off and regular connections are cut off in their region. This story here is the only one that really doesn't alarm me in any way, shape, or form, because it's like they're making a non-story a story, and that is what is drawing my attention. Why did they publish this on this date? Because it seems like typical protocol for senators to have satellite phones. That just seems like common sense. But why would they publish that on Monday, May 22nd? And curiously, on the same day, May 22nd, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, came out with a Twitter video to fight misinformation online.
Are you prepared? The internet is going down later this week. It's going to be crazy. Find out more below.
The internet is going down later this week.
It's going to be crazy. The real truth the government refuses to tell you. Previous account banned for sharing the truth. Wait a minute. This is misinformation. You may be spreading misinformation unintentionally.
Which is very curious because the BBC came out with BBC Verify the same week. Almost like the United States and Great Britain and all these other countries aren't really that separate, and they all march in lockstep with one another. But anyway, in this video, there's one narrative of misinformation they perpetuated that was that the internet could go down. They happened to release the video the same day the senators were reportedly issued their satellite phones in case the internet really did go down, which is very curious timing. Don't you think? I also don't do this very often because I'm more issues over individuals, but I had Twitter beef with this lady, Mariana from BBC Verify, which is straight out of Orwell's 1984. And I'll roll their presentation now.
We are a team of investigative journalists here at the BBC. We are also a new brand, and we are a physical location above the newsroom in London. And the point of the team, as you said, is to verify video, to fact check, to counter disinformation, and to analyse really complex stories so we can get to the truth of what's going on. Why does this matter? Well, mistruths can cause really serious harm to society and to the people in them. And so we want to show you our workings and really help you understand how we get to the bottom of what's happening. And I'm going to give you a bit of a flavour of the kind of work that the team are doing. So we're able to look at maps to geolocate specific situations, stuff that's going on. This is just a map of central London where we are now, and this is New Broadcasting House where I'm speaking to you from. And it's not so important perhaps for the centre of London, but it is when we're analysing war zones or what's happening in hard to reach places. And there's a story on the BBC website today. It's looking at Russian fortifications on the front lines in Ukraine, and you can read more about it there. And there are other ways that we also are able to interrogate what's going on, including on social media. I have some undercover accounts that I've set up for the BBC's Americast podcast, and we use these kinds of undercover accounts. These are the characters that the accounts belong to be able to really understand polarization online and how what's happening on our social media feeds and what we're being recommended and pushed to us can affect all of us. And they don't offer us a totally exhaustive insight into what's going on, but they can help us understand just how social media works. And then there's also investigating other mistruths and the real world harm they can cause. At the moment, I'm investigating the UK's conspiracy theory movement. I'm trying to understand more about how it's evolved and intensified since the pandemic here in the UK. I'm looking at the alternative media that finds itself at the heart of this movement, and a conspiracy theory newspaper that's a part of that as well. I'm looking at the way that alternative media is funded. I'm looking at its impact on local communities. I'm looking at its connections with far-right figures and also its foreign links. That's for a podcast series that will be coming out in June. It's called Mariana in Conspiracy Land, and it will be available on BBC Sounds, Radio 4, asking that question, could January the 6th or a German coup attempt like we saw there ever happen?
Mariana was complaining on Twitter that she was being bullied by trolls calling her misogynistic things and slurs and whatever. Poor little old Mariana, she's just a perpetual victim. She's like Nina Jankowicz, the Ministry of Truth lady from the United States who was so terribly unpopular that she fled the country and now works for the UK, which makes a lot of sense now, actually. I find it curious that the FDA's whole fighting misinformation program launched the same day as BBC Verify. Anyway, here's my video I made to Mariana because she blocked me on Twitter, so I made her a video message.
Hi, this message is for Mariana of BBC Verify. I'm just out here looking for ripe blueberries, but I think the deer have eaten them all. We're out here in my garden in the beautiful Bible Belt of the South, North Georgia, the greatest place on earth. And look at that. And I just wanted to tell you, Mariana, that I saw you on Twitter just, lamenting about being bullied for your objective, your government-funded objective with the BBC to stop the spread of misinformation across the internet. And I am just so sorry that someone would call you a name online for censoring their speech, for stopping the flow of information online. That's just terrible. It reminds me a lot of this one lady we had who was the alleged minister of misinformation here in the United States. Her name was, what was it? Nina? So I just wanted to say, Mariana, that just because someone is mean to you online, just because someone calls you a name, or just because you call yourself a name on your burner account, doesn't mean that you're vindicated and living out your villain era. It really doesn't. Just because that check cashes from the BBC doesn't mean you're right. Doesn't mean you're on the right side of history at all. In fact, I would bet everything that I own, that you're on the wrong side of history. But what I found particularly distasteful, Mariana, and by saying it's distasteful is not me calling you a certain name or being misogynistic against you. Do you understand the difference? It's distasteful, it's anti-human, it's anti-American. I understand you're a Brit and you're part of the Five Eyes, but I found it particularly distasteful that in disseminating whatever propaganda you're about to deploy, you showed your burner accounts that is directly against the terms and conditions of Twitter, and they were all American burner accounts. Who do you think you are? I know I do have some British followers who I adore and value very much, and I would encourage them to completely reject this operation as a whole. I know that your government dollars unfortunately fund it, but I would reject it. And I would also encourage them to state how they feel towards you, Mariana, because I think feedback is very valuable. Anyway, have a day. Bye.
That's all I have for you today, internet friends. I hope you are all doing great, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
What difference at this point does it make?
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there.
We should not argue in the context of yesterday. We should really first analyze how the world has dramatically changed and is changing in an accelerating way.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Something that I'm breathing, telling me to sleep in. Face behind my lids like nothing gets done. Living by a bad truth, swallow it like who knew. Marching to the drums like pam 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 pam. Sliding by the beaches, gotta have a secret. Life is plain peaches, tell nobody my secret. Drowning out the teaching, gotta have a secret. I'm just a fake silhouette, avoiding every threat. I wanna stay like a silhouette, but I can't do that. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that.